Hey, welcome back to Inside the Vandals. I'm joined now by Idaho Vandals men's basketball coach Don Verlin. Coach, thanks so much for being with us.
Well, it's good to be here.
Well, you guys played your first game there on Friday night, the exhibition against Simon Fraser. What was your initial feeling after that game about how your team looked?
Well, we did a lot of good things. It was a little bit difficult to tell with the system and style they played, but we did a good job of rebounding the ball in the second half. We did a nice job knocking down our free throws, and it was good to see Connor Hill make a bunch of shots.
9 for 12 from 3. You guys shot pretty much a sizzling percentage from the field. Did you like that? Were you happy about that?
Well, we did a good job moving the basketball and finding the open guy. A little bit was, that high percentage was due to the way Simon Fraser played us. But, it could have gone the other way for us, too. And I thought our guys did a good job of moving the ball, finding the open player. We did a pretty good job of not turning the ball over too much. So, happy with obviously the result. Happy with some of the things we did. It was just a little bit hard to get an evaluation on where we're at this point with the style that Simon Fraser played.
How do you label their style? More of a run and gun, or how do you quantify that?
Well, that system was designed by a guy by the name of Vance Wahlberg out in Fresno years ago, and it's just kind of a system to make teams play fast, and they were trapping the passes even after a missed field goal, and really just try to take you out of what you're trying to do. And we didn't realize that they were going to do that until we got in the middle of it, made some adjustments at halftime. Obviously, when you score 75 points in the second half, you obviously did some good things. But kind of a system to speed up the game and shoot a bunch of threes and try to beat a team by getting them out of the rhythm and then making a bunch of threes on them.
Typically, how do these exhibition games tend to help you most? To just be able to get out there and compete, or to see yourself on film when you're competing? And what would you say?
Yeah, both. Number one is putting on the uniforms, turning on the lights, see how the guys are going to act when it's an actual game type situation, and then getting a chance to evaluate our personnel against somebody else. And from a schematical standpoint, deciding what we have to adjust or what we have to get better at. So that's what we tend to have happen. I'm not sure it happened in the full capacity I would like it to this first game. So this next game versus Lewis and Clark State will give us a better barometer.
New conference this season, being in the Big Sky. How does the Big Sky and the WAC, how do you compare those two?
Well, I think the Big Sky is a lot better than people think. First and foremost, they've got a lot of returning players in this conference. It's a conference that's been around for a long period of time, and it's a very, very competitive conference with only 8 of the 12 teams making it to postseason play or to the Big Sky tournament. So, if you would have compared it to the WAC when I first got the Idaho job, I'd tell you it wasn't even close. But you compare it to last year's WAC, and it's every bit as good or better than the conference we came from.
Is being in the Big Sky and having more regional opponents, opportunities for more of those rivalries, is it better than being in the WAC or just different?
A lot better. I think from a basketball standpoint, if you ask me what conference would you like to be in, I would tell you it's the Big Sky Conference. I think it's better for a number of reasons. One is, like you just mentioned, the regional rivalries. 2 is the travel. And I think it's schools that are university, our Vandal Nation, our students can relate to, and I think it's going to be a really positive thing for our basketball program.
Last season, you guys came so close to making it to the NCAA tournament. Being so close, experiencing that, how does that affect coming into this year?
Well, you hope you have that momentum. That momentum carries over. And, I had a lot of guys play last year in the WAC tournament final that are back on the team this year. We obviously lost some key guys in Cameron, Dean, and Stephen Madison. But Suki Wiggs, Perryon Calendarette, Connor Hill, Mike Scott, all those guys had the thrill of playing in a WAC tournament final, and hopefully we can do the same this year in the Big Sky Conference and not only get to the tournament final but win it.
Now, coming into the season, you mentioned missing some guys from last year. namely Stephen Madison. How's the team responded so far to not having your leading scorer there?
Well, great. I mean, we're going to be different. I don't think we're going to have a guy get 20 points a game and 8 rebounds a game and lead us in about every category. I think we'll be different, and that's a challenge, and like I've said all along, next guy up, it's time. And we've had some guys step up. We've had some new guys play pretty well in the preseason and played pretty well in the exhibition game.
Who do you expect to really be the guy that you're calling on to step up this year? Is it Connor Hill? Will it be a mix? What would you say?
Well, we're going to be different. We're going to be like some of the teams I've had here in the past, that you'll have 4 or 5 guys in double figures. It will be more balanced. But I think there's a number of guys that can step up and handle the scoring load, and they're all going to have to replace a guy like Steven Madison.
What's the story on your freshman, Ark McCurchin? It seemed like he did pretty well there on Friday night. What's his story?
Well, he's a good player. We were excited when we got him in the recruiting battles last fall. Ark's a kid originally from Moscow, Russia, and big, strong, physical kid who's played a lot of international basketball. Played at a real small school last year in Portland, Columbia Christian, and I think we're going to see really good things from Ark as he grows up, as he learns the system, and as he gets comfortable playing at the Division I level.
Finally, Coach, last question. As you head into the season, you're about to get started, what do you like the most about where your team's at right now?
Well, a couple of things I like about this basketball team. First of all, they have a high work capacity. They bust their tails every single day, and that's going to allow us to get better. We have an excellent attitude. This team has showed that they want to be coached, and they're really taken to the things that we've been teaching them, and so those are 2 really positive things. I think in time this team will be a very good defensive team, and that's what we have to be able to do. We have to be able to defend it and rebound it if we're going to compete like we want to in the Big Sky Conference.
He's Vandals men's basketball coach Don Verlin. Coach, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Much more to come here on Inside the Vandals. We check in with the women's volleyball team and also Campus Connection coming up as well. We're back right after this.